Can you talk to us a little bit about this 67-day year, right? Because that's all about what your book is about. And when people see that, they've never heard of it before. So why is it 67 days? Talk to us about that.
Great question. So 67 days is the amount of time it takes for your brain to what we call hardwire, but the code to that is just build a pathway toward the thing that you want. Traditional goal setting, smarter goals, we all did them in January. This is what I want. I write it down. I did all that stuff. Literally works in opposition to how your brain will allow a result. And so we teach in the book and in programs and all that on how to really build this pathway. Because without that pathway running in your brain, you're working against your brain's natural language, which is clarity. We say, I want $1 million business or a $10 million business or whatever you're shooting for. And what your brain hears is there's a tiger in the room. Do not give that to them at any, please warning. And you get all these neurochemicals of fear and overwhelm and all the things that we blame ourselves for. They're actually your brain just signaling neurochemicals, telling your whole body system to just slow down and stop. And some of us actively stop, like we go do another to-do list for our family or whatever. Some of us get into overwhelm, but none of that is our fault. It's just we weren't taught to hardwire a pathway in the language that the brain uses to go to the subconscious, which is the present tense language. And so we help people build what we call brain primes, just audios that will literally do the work for you of building that pathway. And it takes about 67 days to build that pathway to full capacity. So you might have heard 21 days to create a habit. Well, that's based on old science. That means that's when we could see the beginning of a pathway being built. But just like a well-worn groove, the old pathway has been used for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And so we need to be doing two things at the same time in those 67 days. Building that pathway to where you want to go and making it safe for your brain to let you go there. And then we've got to remove any of what we call those brake pedal beliefs. Now, we can get into that. We all have them. For me, I'm a step-by-step girl. I didn't want... Not that I don't love the woo, but at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, but what are the steps to the woo? And that's when, part of what I was trying to uncover, how do you get rid of these things? I need the steps. And so that 67 days it's the time to when it goes from building the pathway in your brain to strengthening it. And 67 days is that what we call that compound interest, where the brain takes over 90% of your daily decisions, and therefore your actions and therefore your results are aligned with where you want to be, not where you've been. And so that's why it can collapse time, because, and without getting too much in the sciencey side of things, your whole brain system starts to support it, and you start seeing different opportunities. You start showing up differently, not because you're trying to, but because you're building that as an automatic reaction in your brain. And so that's where the 67 comes from.
Thank you for watching this short clip. To watch or listen to this episode in its entirety, view the description below. See you next time.